Hey folks, my name's Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Black Hand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Hey folks, my name's Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored. So, we're going to do something a little bit different today. Still humdinging. We're still humdinging, but it's entirely different. This is a different story. It's about me, right? And it's kind of deep, dude. It really is. I've been trying to get this put into the right mindset because it necessitates and it deserves to be told appropriately. And a lot of people have asked me about recordings of myself. I've never been caught on wire. I think there's only one occasion where I was caught in a recorded line, and that was not even a wiretap. That was a visit at Pelican Bay, and that was right before I dropped out. But no other recordings exist other than the recordings I made myself. So I used to journal, right? I would journal, and I would write voraciously, read voraciously, and journaling was my thing, right? But then I got a recorder. I had one of those old analog recorders where push play and record at the same time, and you record with little cassette tapes. I mean, it was like the cheapest little thing you could see. But I started doing cassette tapes, and I have a ton of those, right? And then I met Michael Montgomery, which is really how we came to do a documentary together and do this first episode of my podcast. And that's what you're going to hear right now. You're going to hear the first episode of the podcast. And it's exclusive. Nobody else has got it. It's you're going to hear historic clips, new clips, and it's a doozy of a story. It's just the tip of the iceberg. And I want to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you want a podcast? Do you want an audio version that you can listen to while you're driving? We're testing this right now, and we thought that, I mean, you guys are the most loyal supporters that there are. You built this channel from where it was, so this is where I wanted to do it. I didn't want to go to Spotify or Apple or anywhere else. I wanted to do it right here on the ground floor where it all started. But it all began when I met Michael Montgomery. This is Michael Montgomery. He's a Peabody winner. He's a William Morrow Award winner. He is a DuPont winner. This guy is a serious journalist. Worked with 60 Minutes, National Public Radio, Center for Investigative Media, and Reveal. He's a big shot. He's a big shot in the radio world. And before I continue, I'm going to digress here. I saw in my last video that my neck was looking a little scruffy, right? One of my viewers pointed it out that, hey, your neck's looking a little scruffy, and it's true. I hadn't had a haircut in like 2.5 weeks. So I went today and I trimmed my stuff up, and I'm not going to have a scruffy neck. So I can't hang with the scruffy neck. Anyways, getting back to my story with Michael Montgomery. Michael Montgomery was a hard-ass, hard-nosed reporter, right? I mean, this guy's a consummate professional. And he somehow finagled an interview with me at Lancaster. And I was PC, so I could do interviews. So I sat down with him and we talked, and he did this documentary called Gangster Confidential. It aired years ago, and it actually won the PATH Award. It was a really good documentary, not just because it was about me, because it was just different, right? So Mike and I became friends. Mike even attended my wedding way back in the day when Father Greg married me. Well, Father Greg didn't marry me. He married us, my wife and I, right? So he even went to my wedding. He was there, and he recorded the audio there. And I remember he took pictures of my feet, and when I was in leg irons, because the FBI took me there. We went into a courthouse, and I arranged to have Mike there and Chris Blatchford, my best man, and Father Greg, who was going to perform the ceremony. So we became friends over the years. We became friends for maybe 17, 18 years now. We've been buddies. I mean, this guy's my bro. And And at first he was skeptical, like everybody else, skeptical. Like, yeah, this guy's a manipulator. He's BS, but this is the guy who's behind. He's the force behind this podcast, right? I just record. I'm not the brain. I'm not the brain. That's not me. I need guys like this to become creative, right? These are the guys that are the driving force, like the Chris Blatchfords and the Michael Montgomerys and all the other people behind me that make me look good because I'm not really that good. It's guys like this that you pull the right people around you. I was watching the mayoral and the gubernatorial election on cable the other day, um, and somebody said that he's not that smart. He said I'm not that smart, but I will surround myself with the smartest people, and that's how what I usually do. I want the best, the brightest, the most aggressive, the most innovative people around me, and Michael is one of those guys. So Michael starts recording me, my calls and all that stuff. I start creating cassettes, and we start documenting this stuff. We have no concept of creating a documentary or a podcast in the future. There's a possibility I'll never get out of prison, and I wasn't going to release some kind of media piece before I was granted parole because that would be a killer. I'm kept trying. Somebody would say I'm trying to capitalize on my crimes, right? Which is not the case at all. Um, but it was politically tenuous to do so at the time. So we just figured we record, and he would call me and consult me on certain pieces he was doing, and I'd give him a tidbit here and a tidbit there. But we became friends over the years, and then there was this guy, Brian Perry. Brian Perry was my arch enemy. This is the director of corrections for CDCR and the head of the SSU. He's the godfather of the SSU, and hard nosed guy. Worked for the department for 30 years for California Department of Corrections. Became the assistant director. Retired and opposed my parole. Opposed anything about me. He was just one of those guys. He's like he's like this is a extremely conservative man here, and so is Michael Montgomery in his own way. It's kind of like polar opposites. Mike's a bit of a lib, and and uh, and Brian Perry's a bit of a conservative guy, right? But Mike is conservative in his morals and his beliefs and things of that nature, right? Like these are white guys that would never in a million years cross paths with me in normal life. Yet they did. They did, and they became my friends. They became my brothers, and I can't say that any more sincerely that when somebody treats you with human compassion and you feel the sincerity of that compassion, uh, that's something, man. That's really something. But they were my enemies first. Mike was like he was using me to get a story, right? I got that, right? And I got the feeling he kind of didn't like me. And I knew Brian Perry didn't like me. I knew he didn't. In fact, he sat down with me in the peace talks in 2002. Uh, he sat down with the peace talks, or in 2000, and he knocked us down immediately. He was representing the director of corrections and the governor's office, and he came in and said, "Nope, it's over. We're not letting you guys do nothing." Uh, so I'll get approached to do a documentary for FBI, right? Brian Perry retires from CDC and goes to the FBI. He begins working with NGIC. It's a congressionally led group of intelligence agencies that cover gang intelligence throughout the nation. Like this is high power stuff. This ain't like a little task force they put together for take down and do a RICO, right? This is national and international intelligence, right? That's who he's working for under the FBI. And they approached me to do a documentary. And I said, yeah, cool, man, I'll do it. I'm down with it, because uh, I mean, this was one of the first opportunities I got to contribute, right? And I go into it wholeheartedly. I believe in it, and it takes a few months to put together. They come and they film, but I never saw the intro that they spoke about me until I got the disc. They gave me a copy of it was the CD-ROM they were distributing at the time. That's how old it is, right? But I want you to see what he said about me and how he felt about me. This is the intro that they did for me. It's all text, but Brian will jump in here and he'll give you his 2 cents about who he thinks I am. and this is prior to my being granted parole or anything like that. This is who he thought I was. It'll start right about now.
Rene Enriquez is a cold-blooded killer. There's no doubt about that. We know that. But he is also in a position to help law enforcement. And we have to take advantage of where he is today and what he is willing to tell us if we ask the right questions. And he's valuable today, and he won't be valuable tomorrow. The time to get what we need is today. But let's not lose sight of the fact that, here is a guy that has killed a number of people and has directed others to kill people. But the value here is we have an opportunity to question him and listen to him about the organizational structure of a powerful gang. But let's not forget who we're dealing with. But from a law enforcement perspective, we don't get this opportunity very often. But we have to look at it. We have to look at it through our law enforcement prism. Is exactly who's sitting in front of us, and why is he telling us this? There's an ulterior motive. It's for take care of him. He wants to get released someday, so we have to be cautious of that. But we also can't overlook the fact that here's an opportunity to get an inside look at how a crime organization is operating. So there's value here, and being in this business 38 years, I would not look at it any other way as what can law enforcement get out of this? But let's not forget who he is.
That stung. That stung me because they approached me. It was a soft touch. Hey, Rene, you want to contribute to the community? You can help the FBI. It's doing a good thing. And then I saw this, Brian Perry talking ish about me, and I was livid. I was pretty upset. F this. I was pretty upset over it. But that's how law enforcement saw me. That's what I was battling. I was battling this mentality through mainstream media, through CDC, through law enforcement, through the governor's office. This is what I battled, right? And it's hard to change somebody's mind that's got this perception about you that you're a turd, right? I was a turd to them, and I just finally came to the resolution that I'm not going to try to change anybody's mind, right? I wasn't going to try to convince people to like me. And I live by that fact today, and I'm so much happier because of it. Because I lived my entire life like that way. As a gang member, you're living the expectations of somebody else, right? As a mobster, you're doing the same thing. You that's not living. Now I just don't care what people think, right? And if Mr. Perry thought that today, okay, that's cool. I'm cool with it. I wouldn't have any animosity at all. Everybody's entitled to their opinions, and their opinions are none of my business. Honestly, their opinions don't impact me. They don't take up space in my head. But that stung because I was still just freshly out of the mob, and I had this ego, and how dare they talk shit about me? How dare they talk shit about me and say that I'm manipulating somebody or I wanted something? But I had to battle that. That was a huge battle, and it took about 20 something years before I was ultimately granted parole. But I wanted you to see that. That's the preamble. About Michael Montgomery, award-winning journalist, hard-nosed guy, professional. He wasn't having no BS from me, right? He wanted to maintain his journalistic integrity. He wanted the award-winning piece, and he got it, right? We did the documentary. But then we became friends. We became friends. Michael and I have had lunch together. He's been to my home. Mr. Perry and I just had dinner together. I went out to a conference. I flew out for a conference, and lo and behold, he was there. And we had dinner a couple nights in a row, and we had a couple beers together. And these men have become my brothers. I know that's a radical transition, right? These guys that are talking all this issue about me, and now we're brothers, right? In my heart, I feel the sincerity of their intent, right? They're just good men, and they're living their lives, and And we got together and we did a lot of recording, right? And we put it together in what is the first episode of our podcast, right? And we're going to run that now. It's straight audio. I'm not going to interrupt in between. I want you to hear it for everything it's worth. I mean, it's professionally scored. It's created by Michael Montgomery, and it's recordings of me, Brian Perry, and Michael Montgomery. And again, this is the first episode. It's about 25 minutes long. And I think I'm gonna give that to you in a part two. I know it's a cliffhanger, but it's worth the wait. You're gonna love the podcast. It is awesome, folks. As always, stay safe. Peace out.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname